Hi there, it's Millie from UPDo, and welcome to another episode of how to make money working online as a freelancer. In this video, I'll share some tips that will hopefully help you to land your first job really fast, as well as some tips and information on why some people never get hired or find it really hard to get hired, so you can avoid those mistakes and get hired. So for starters, how soon can you land your first job? If you need money urgently, how long will it take? Will it take weeks until somebody answers you, or can you get a job really quick? Of course, that depends on you, what jobs you apply to, and if you're lucky or not, and of course how you apply to them. But you can get to work pretty fast. So let me share a few personal stories to inspire you. This is me and my mom. As I mentioned in the first tutorial in this series, I'm not sure if you watched it or not, when I was 12, she brought me to an island, a Caribbean island, where we've been living ever since. Now, while it's a pretty island, and there's a nice ocean to swim in, the wages are really terrible, a few $100s per month. So it's really hard to survive. And at some point, when I was around 15, well, she didn't have work, and we ended up living in a slum, and starving. So at one point, the fridge was completely empty, and we were eating our last rotten beans. Really disgusting beans. They were actually oozing white goo. I don't know what that was, but it was revolting. I never wanted to eat beans after that. And she was desperate. Then she discovered working online. And she started applying to jobs that same day. She was applying to many of them, bidding away. Bidding is when you submit a proposal saying, why they should hire you. And within that same day, she got her first job. Now, she was building websites, and at first when she started out, she was doing it for very cheap. But, she got her first job, and that was great. 2 days later, she finished the work, she got paid, and then she went shopping and bought a lot of really nice stuff. No rotten beans, all kinds of tasty food. So that was a really great day. And aside from that, let's go back one more. Aside from that, over the years, whenever she met somebody who was struggling financially or was unhappy with their job, she'd give them advice in freelancing. And for instance, there was a security guard, a Dominican guy. We live in the Dominican Republic. And he was working as a security guard in one beachfront condominium. He was earning very little per month, and she told him about freelancing online. Now, he didn't have many skills. He had very basic computer skills. And his English wasn't even that good. Sometimes he didn't understand what we were saying. But within the first week, he already got a job, working online for $10 per hour, as an assistant to somebody. So that was really great too. After a while, he stopped working as a guard, and I suppose now he's just working from home happily, earning a lot more than the local wages. Aside from that, there was also a girl working in a kitesurfing school. Also, within a few days, she landed a job part-time, for 10 hours per week or so, also around $10 an hour, sorting through somebody's emails. And then a short while later, she got another part-time job, and she was really happy. So depending what kind of skills you have, or what kind of jobs you apply to, and how you apply to them, you could get a job pretty fast. Of course, nothing's guaranteed, but there are tons of jobs out there, tens of thousands of them. So surely you can find something. Okay, now let's discuss why some people never get hired or have it really hard to get hired. So if you have a very poorly written profile and you don't present yourself well, your profile is really sloppy, it looks really off-putting and terrible. And I'm not talking about, not having perfect English, that's forgivable, but having a really badly written profile, like one sentence saying, I be your assistant and nothing more. Or, I want to work for you, and that's it. Some people write a profile like that, really. And that's not appealing to anybody to hire you for that. Another thing is badly written job applications. So on some sites you can actually see what people write in their applications, like freelancer or people per hour. And it's really amazing. Sometimes they write one sentence like, hire me, and that's it. And do you think that's appealing? No, that's not appealing. Also, generic kind of boring things of, our company is the best in the world and we have 500 employees, all kinds of things people sometimes write in their applications, or just really off-putting things. I have a friend in VFX, he was hiring and he had hundreds of different people applying to the job, and he said he was amazed how people wouldn't even say hi, they wouldn't say anything, they just sent in their resume and sometimes say, I need money, all in caps, or hire me, really angry and aggressive. And that's, also not a great way to apply to a job. It's not going to get you the job. Okay, so that brings us to point 3, rude, unfriendly, or want to cheat the client. So if you just mention your own interests, such as, I really need money, hire me, that's not a benefit to the client, and that's not telling them how you're going to help them. Also, if you plan to cheat the client, for instance, you are hoping that you're going to get an online job, one of these magic make money online jobs, and you won't have to work maybe 1 hour per month if you feel like it. Or you plan to cheat the client and say you're working 10 hours and you don't work at all, you work 10 minutes or 1 hour. And if you go out with that kind of an intention, it's going to come out in the way that you write your applications, in your attitude, in everything, even in your profile picture. It's funny, you can see scammers, all sorts of scammers, ones who sell scammy courses or who try to lure people into scams. Often the way that they pose in the profile picture, there's something really sleazy about them. Some people can't tell exactly what it is, but they just feel that that person is not trustworthy. And if you have that kind of mental attitude to cheat the client, it's going to come out in everything. And they just, for some reason, won't want to hire you, even if they're not sure what it is about you they don't like. Okay, now some people are dramatically overpriced or underpriced. And by dramatically, I mean, for instance, the medium wage is 10 or 15 per hour for a certain task, and you suddenly want 50. People are going to be like, why, you're crazy. There's so many people wanting 10, 15, or even 20. 50 is like way overpriced. And if you're very skilled, for instance, in writing or whatever, and you're applying to a lowlier job of data entry, but you still want to charge the same amount like if you were hired as a writer, well, that's not going to work. You have to charge based on the job that you're applying to. And of course, if you do a bad job and get bad reviews, then you won't get more jobs. And, that's basically going to kill your online career. And last of all, if you never bid on any projects, obviously you're not going to have a chance to get any projects, unless some people find you somehow and invite you to the project, which might never happen, so you must definitely be proactive and also bid on projects. And here's why some people get hired almost instantly or within a few days and get jobs really quickly. They have an attractive profile. And in a separate video, I'll talk about how to write a really great bio and make yourself sound awesome. Even if you don't think that you have many skills, there's always something that you can write about yourself that's attractive, and we'll get to that soon. So you position yourself really well, you sound like you're the great person to work with, the person that they want, and then of course a positive mental attitude helps a lot. So if you're friendly and nice to work with, they'll be happy to work with you and recommend you, and you'll get maybe repeat work from the same client. Sometimes clients chat with different people that they're considering before hiring them. So if you're really rude when you're talking to them, or misspell their name, that annoys people tremendously, or just really unfriendly, and they just get a bad feeling about you, then they're not going to hire you. But if you're always friendly and nice, doesn't mean that you have to go groveling and begging, but just be a friendly, nice person to talk with and to work with. Then you have a much higher chance that the interview will go well and they'll hire you. Now by interview, I mean them messaging you through the platform before hiring you. They call that an interview nowadays. Before they just called that messaging. But it is an interview in a way, since they might ask you a few questions or just want to get to know you a tiny bit before hiring you. Okay, next, to get jobs, you have to write great bids. Now, what is a bid? A bid is basically when you apply to a job online, you have to submit a proposal, which is some text about why they should choose you, like a job application. But it's not just your CV, it's actually addressing that specific job and saying why you're the perfect person for the job and why they should hire you. And if you write a really good bid/proposal, then you have a high chance to be hired. And that's also a separate video, how to write a great bid. And of course, if you do a great job, you'll get good reviews and maybe repeat work. And last but not least, price reasonably. So don't price yourself too low. If you price yourself extremely low, like the average wage is 15 per hour, and you say, I'll do it for $2 per hour, some people will think, wow, that person is probably really crappy. Why does he only want $2 per hour? Some people might be happy, say, wow, what a deal, $2 per hour, and hire you. If you're qualified to do the job, then there's no reason that you shouldn't charge a decent amount. Now, when you start out, you might have to charge a lot less than what you want to earn to get your first jobs and good reviews, but you don't have to go like rock bottom. You can see even in the profiles of current top earners, they started out working for something low like $10 per hour when they want $30 per hour. And then slowly they worked up to 15, then to 20, and then eventually to the 30 that they want. Now, they didn't start out charging $3 per hour. Okay, so a few more tips how to get work online. So do something easy you know you can do well. Don't do something really hard that you might struggle with. It might take you really long to complete, something you've never done before, something that you might fail at doing and then get a bad review. Do something easy that you're certain you can do without any problems and you can do really well, make the client really happy to get your great reviews. Some people go for jobs that they're overqualified for. So I've seen technical writers or women from America with all kinds of experience and degrees and many skills going for something very simple and very easy to begin with, like data entry. And the reason for that is because that's a very easy job to get, especially if you're somebody who's very qualified and you go for data entry. The client might be like, wow, that person is going to certainly do a great job. Why not hire that person instead of somebody who's maybe not going to do it well and it's going to be sloppy, and they're charging the same fee. So some people do that, even if it's a really small job that's not paying much, but you do it well, and then you get your first reviews. That's a big help, because then when you apply to the next jobs, the client can see this person is a 5-star freelancer for 100% successful job completions, and that looks really good. On some platforms, clients can even say, I don't want anybody to apply to my job who has not 100% success job completion status, meaning 5-star rating. Or I don't want anybody to apply to my job who doesn't have at least 90% job success on previous jobs. And if you're new and you don't have any ratings, then you might not be able to apply to some nice jobs. So sometimes getting even a tiny job for a few dollars, $50, $150, $200, a job that lasts only a few hours, or that's a fixed price project for some certain work, is great, because then you can get your review and then it'll be easier for you to apply to the next jobs. To begin with, many people start working at a low price. I mentioned before, if you want 15 per hour, maybe you start working for 10 per hour, or even for 8 if you want. Or 10 is a very good price too. It's a great deal. And the reason for that is because then you find all kinds of clients who want a very qualified, really awesome person to do the job really well, but they don't want to pay a lot. So when you're that person who can do the job really well and you're charging very little, they might think, wow, that's a great deal, great savings, and then hire you. And sometimes dealing with these stingy clients who want it really cheap can be a pain in the butt, because they want you to suddenly do extra work, especially when you're new and they know that you need the good review. They might try to get you to do stuff for free for them. So it's sometimes better to work per hour, because then if they want you to do extra stuff, you say, okay, I'll work more hours, sure thing, and then you make more money. Whereas if it's a fixed price project, they might say, oh, and do this too, please. Oh, and that, and that, and that, and that. So you have to be careful. Of course, you can say very clearly, no, that wasn't included. I can do that for extra, for another $20, $50, whatever. But then you run the risk that they might not want to leave you a good review, so it can be tricky sometimes. Alright, so for more tips on how to write a great bio and how to write a great bid, check out my other tutorials. Thanks for watching. I hope this tutorial helps you. Subscribe for more tutorials and visit youpidoacademy.com to discover many more fun ways to make money online, including a passive income.